Namaste. Welcome to the series on foundational concepts of Sanatana Dharma. Today, in this session, we are going to look at a little more about knowledge. If you have been a student of philosophy or social science, you would have heard the term epistemology. Don't worry if you haven't heard of it. Epistemology is that branch of philosophy that is concerned with the origin and scope of knowledge and our various beliefs and thought processes. So in Sanatana Dharma, it is called Pramana, or the valid source of knowledge, or source of true knowledge for that matter. How do we actually acquire knowledge? If you look at it, our senses play a very crucial role. We look at something through our eyes. We hear sounds, we taste something, we feel a touch on our skin, and we sense smell as well. So our senses form the primary way by which we acquire knowledge. And even if one of these senses is not working, what happens is that the knowledge representation changes to a very significant extent. And hence, Pramana is that which we acquire through the senses, the true knowledge, the valid knowledge that is acquired through the senses. And when we say Pramana, there are various ways to acquire true knowledge. So each of the philosophical systems look at it differently. But in general, let's look at 4 ways by which we acquire knowledge. One is Pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means having a direct perception of things. You directly cognize something. Though it is to do with the eyes, but it's not just the eyes. The terminology is to do with the eyes, but nevertheless through your ears or whatever other senses as well. So basically, you have a direct perception of something. That is Pratyaksha. Or you can have or you can acquire knowledge through Anumana or inference. Suppose far away you see smoke. It's a very typical example. You see smoke and then you infer that there is fire over there. Similarly, in various diagnostic procedures, in various experimental processes, you draw a lot of inferences based on your observation. So that is Anumana. The third source of valid knowledge is Upamana or comparison. Many things we learn through comparison. Suppose you look at a new fruit, right? Suppose you haven't seen that fruit before, or somebody is describing to you a new fruit. So how do you understand that fruit? You would probably say it looks like an orange, but it is not an orange. It looks like an apple, but it's not an apple. It grows on a tree which looks like very similar to a guava tree, but it's not guava, but very similar to guava. So through these comparisons, you're able to make sense of what fruit it is actually, or how do we actually, suppose you encounter a completely new species, how do you actually put it or categorize it or classify it? You have to draw some comparisons. So that is Anumana. And the fourth is Shabda Pramana or Agama. So either you could have a direct perception of things, or you can learn something through inference, or you can learn through comparison. But if suppose none of this is available, you will have to rely on the words of the experts. Or in the case of Sanatana Dharma, we rely on the words of the Rishis. The Rishis have done deep tapasya, have spent thousands of years going through a very, very deep process of learning and have handed it down through tradition, some of which has been through the oral tradition, some of which is through the written tradition. Until it comes to our direct experience, we have to rely on these sources through Shraddha, of course, that is through deep faith in the words of the Rishis. So that is called Shabda Pramana, where we learn through the works of others. Or we could learn it through our parents, through elders at home, through our guru, through acharyas, or through friends or from the society. So basically it means that until it comes to our direct experience, we learn it through other sources. So we have looked at Pramana, which is the valid source of knowledge, in terms of Pratyaksha, direct perception of things. Anumana is in terms of drawing inferences. Upamana, drawing comparisons. Or Shabda Pramana or Agama, which is basically learning through the works of others. Namaste.